It lasted only a few days. Not a war, not a financial crisis, not a cyber attack. Just one ship, one unexpected accident, inside one narrow canal. Yet within hours, the effects rippled across the entire planet. Hundreds of vessels stopped moving. Billions of dollars in cargo stood still. Factories waited for components that never arrived. Retailers watched inventories shrink. Energy markets recalculated risk. The world suddenly realized something extraordinary. Globalization was never as flexible as it appeared. It was balanced upon a handful of invisible corridors, and when one of them stopped, the entire system hesitated. The Suez Canal was never just a waterway. It was one of civilization's hidden operating systems. For most of human history, ships traveling between Europe and Asia followed a much longer path. Around the southern tip of Africa, thousands of additional nautical miles, weeks of extra sailing, higher fuel consumption, greater uncertainty. Then everything changed. In 1869, a narrow artificial corridor opened across the Egyptian desert. For the first time, the Mediterranean and the Red Sea became directly connected. The world suddenly became smaller. Trade accelerated. Empires adopted. Shipping economics transformed. What appeared to be an engineering project quietly became one of the most influential infrastructures ever constructed. Not because it created trade, but because it compressed distance. And when distance becomes smaller, entire economic systems reorganize themselves around the new reality. The Suez Canal did not become indispensable overnight. No government declared it the center of global trade. No corporation forced ships to use it. The dependency emerged naturally. Every shipping company searched for lower costs. Every importer searched for shorter transit times. Every manufacturer searched for greater efficiency. Millions of independent decisions gradually concentrated global commerce inside one narrow passage. And once concentration reaches a critical point, efficiency quietly transforms into dependency. That transformation is where infrastructure becomes power.
Every economy tries to eliminate friction. Every company tries to reduce cost. Every investor rewards greater efficiency. The Suez Canal became the perfect answer. Ships no longer needed to sail around Africa. Fuel consumption declined, delivery schedules became faster, insurance models improved, supply chains became more predictable. Each individual decision made perfect business sense. But systems rarely evaluate individual decisions. They evaluate collective behavior. When millions of businesses pursue the same optimization, they unknowingly build the same dependency. The canal was no longer simply a shortcut. It became the default route. And once an option becomes the default, the system quietly forgets how to function without it.
When the canal stopped, cargo did not disappear. It simply stopped moving. And in a global economy, motion itself creates value. A container waiting offshore cannot replenish a warehouse. A delayed component cannot complete a production line. A shipment of crude oil cannot power a refinery before it arrives. Every hour of delay creates another hour of uncertainty. Shipping schedules collapse, port reservations shift, truck fleets wait, rail networks reschedule, warehouses recalculate inventory, financial markets reassess delivery risk.
The world often measures trade in dollars, but beneath every dollar exists something even more valuable: time. And the Suez Crisis demonstrated that time is one of the world's most fragile economic resources.
Supply chains rarely fail all at once. They fail one connection at a time. One delayed ship becomes hundreds of delayed deliveries. Hundreds of delayed deliveries become thousands of interrupted production schedules. Factories adjust. Retailers ration inventory. Manufacturers delay exports. Consumers eventually notice empty shelves, not because products stopped existing, but because movement stopped. Modern civilization is built upon synchronization. Raw materials arrive before factories need them. Finished products depart before warehouses overflow. Retail shelves refill before customers notice shortages. Break one critical rhythm, and every rhythm connected to it begins losing precision. The Suez Canal did not expose a transportation problem. It exposed the hidden choreography of the global economy. The Suez Canal is not valuable because ships pass through it. It is valuable because the global economy expects them to. Expectations shape investment. Investment shapes infrastructure. Infrastructure shapes behavior. Ports expand according to projected traffic. Shipping fleets are designed around expected transit times. Factories calculate production schedules around predictable arrivals. Financial contracts assume uninterrupted movement. Insurance companies price risk based on historical reliability. Entire industries quietly organize themselves around one assumption: the canal will remain open. Once that assumption breaks, confidence begins to fracture, and confidence is one of the most important currencies inside every economic system. Whenever a choke point is disrupted, one question always appears: why not simply choose another route? The answer seems obvious until economics enters the conversation. Longer voyages consume more fuel. Additional sailing days increase labor costs. Insurance premiums change. Port reservations must be rewritten. Container availability becomes uncertain. Customers wait longer. Factories adjust production. Working capital remains trapped inside cargo still at sea. Alternatives certainly exist, but alternatives rarely preserve efficiency. The modern economy does not optimize for possibility. It optimizes for precision, and precision is difficult to replace once an entire system has evolved around it. Globalization is often described as an interconnected world. That description is accurate, but incomplete. Interconnection alone does not create prosperity. Flow does. Capital must flow. Energy must flow. Information must flow. Goods must flow. Every interruption introduces friction. Every choke point controls the rhythm of movement. The Suez Canal demonstrates an important principle. Power is rarely located where products are manufactured. It often accumulates where products are forced to pass. That distinction changes everything, because controlling production creates value. Controlling movement creates leverage. The greatest lesson of the Suez Canal is not that one ship blocked global trade. That was merely the symptom. The real story is the architecture beneath it. Civilization appears decentralized. Thousands of ports, millions of businesses, billions of consumers. Yet beneath that complexity, critical movement quietly converges through remarkably few corridors. The more efficient the system becomes, the more valuable those corridors become. The more valuable those corridors become, the more fragile, uninterrupted flow becomes. This is the paradox of globalization. Every improvement in efficiency also increases dependence on the infrastructure that makes that efficiency possible. The Suez Canal is not simply a canal. It is one node inside a much larger operating system, a hidden network where geography becomes infrastructure. Infrastructure becomes dependency. Dependency becomes leverage, and leverage becomes global power. When the Ever Given was finally refloated, global trade resumed. Ships continued sailing. Ports reopened. Markets stabilized. Life appeared to return to normal. But something had permanently changed. Not the canal, not the ships, the way the world understood globalization. For decades, efficiency had been mistaken for resilience. Speed had been mistaken for strength. Optimization had been mistaken for security. The Suez Crisis revealed a deeper truth. A system can be incredibly efficient while remaining surprisingly fragile, because resilience is not measured when everything works. Resilience reveals itself only when something breaks. The canal was cleared. The lesson remained. Civilization had built extraordinary efficiency, but it had also concentrated extraordinary dependency. Today, we uncovered the canal that changed global commerce. Next time, we'll decode another invisible architecture shaping civilization. Because every global crisis is rarely about the event itself. It is about the system beneath it. Every treaty, every shipping lane, every financial network, every data cable, and every energy corridor exists for a reason. The deeper you understand those reasons, the more clearly you understand where power truly resides. If you want to see beyond headlines and uncover the hidden operating systems of the modern world, subscribe to NEXERA. Because history explains what happened, systems explain why. The world is often described through nations, leaders, and economies. But beneath every nation lies infrastructure. Beneath infrastructure lie rules. Beneath rules lie incentives. And beneath incentives lies architecture. That invisible architecture determines how goods move, how energy flows, how information travels, how capital accumulates, and ultimately, how power is distributed. The more deeply you understand these hidden systems, the more clearly you understand the future they are quietly creating. Because the most important forces shaping civilization are often the ones that remain invisible. This is NEXERA. We don't follow the headlines. We decode the architecture behind them. Decoding systems, architecting wealth.